just had to get to that place where I realized it was one of my weaknesses. What was the biggest surprise to you versus the ideology of what you thought entrepreneurship was 4 years ago to now it's true realities now that you live in it?
I think it's all about the people around you, right? How do you really align people with your vision? And it takes so much repetition to get people, I think, to truly understand what they're rowing towards as a team. And I think that at least when I would read about it in books or hear other people talking about it, it sounded like, oh, it can't be that hard. But it's actually, I think, the fundamental thing that you have to get right.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's really funny. I had an employee that's worked at Vayner for 7 years come into my office late last year, and say, hey, like super frustrated. And the person was like, what are we even doing here? And I started laughing because we had a great warm relationship and I didn't feel like it was disrespectful. I'm like, I have only repeated 700,000 times to your face that we're building a platform to buy brands when the economy collapses. It was like super laughable, right. But I think it's a really good demonstration of what you're talking about, because people, when they are employees, and you've been one, so you know this, inherently, subconsciously have to have some level of fear base in them that the company may be not telling you the truth. It's just the inherent human nature of the employer-employee relationship. And so the reaffirming the mission or what you're trying to accomplish, even if it's super simplistic, is oftentimes not consumed, because one has to worry about themselves as an employee and is always worried that the other shoe might drop.
I mean, it's crazy even when you're trying to be as clear as possible, right? Clarity is one of our values because we're dealing in a business that's considered really intentionally opaque, and we're trying to change all that. But like, we at every all hands show the whole business, the company metrics.
How many employees are there now?
We're about 35.
It's awesome.
It's a fun time.
What about firing somebody?
That's fucking hard.
Yeah. Was that hard for you?
It was initially because I didn't know how to do it well.
Right.
But I feel like if you're good at managing expectations and setting really clear goals, then by the time you have to have that conversation with someone that's about them parting ways with you, like, they should already know. It shouldn't be a surprise and it shouldn't be a hard conversation.
Yeah, I would argue that I'm still not great at it, and I was borderline atrocious at it the first 15 to 16 years of my career. I just hated it.
How'd you get better?
AJ helped. When AJ came to Vayner, when I started with AJ, he was much better at it than me with candor, which I think is the main part to what you're talking about. Just wanting to be better. Yeah. You know, just realizing like this was one of the flaws in my system, that I would shock people. Like, it's nice to make it lovely and bubbly and awesome 24/7, 365. But if the movie ends with you firing them and they're flabbergasted because you've given them no negative feedback, that's not good. And I just had to get to that place where I was like, I realized it was one of my weaknesses.
Have you ever tried to get someone back that you fired?
No. Because I desperately don't want to fire. Like, I really, like, it's awfully hard to get fired in Gary land. Like, you really are in DNF land around either your skill set or your personality and how you affect everybody else. So no, I've never tried to get anybody in the history of my life, I've never tried to rehire somebody I fired. I've tried to get people back that have left.
Right.
But even that's been remarkably rare. But yeah, that was a real struggle for me. What about somebody who's great at their job but is not nice to the other boys and girls? How much of a challenge has that been with making a decision based on culture versus output of skill?
Yeah.
And where do you sit on that currently?
I have no tolerance for that.
Okay.
So we had someone who was an incredibly talented person in their job, but was emotionally abusive and like had to part ways with them because...
How long did you sit on it? And how long did you work on it?
So that's a great question. The person was with the company for just about a year. And
when did you become aware of like, uh-oh?
Well, when they started reporting to me.
Interesting.
Because they had previous bosses, they were 2 layers below, and those people sheltered that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard inklings,
Yep.
but I hadn't experienced it firsthand.
Yep.
And when I did, I was like, I have no tolerance for this.
And so did you try to reform, or was it because you had inklings, you kind of knew it was in the air and you were like, fuck it. This is the affirmation I needed.
This is the affirmation.
Yeah.
I didn't really need to sit on it. I think I moved within 72 hours.